Hello and welcome back to Liam's TV Addicts. So this is my Behind the Bars Season 2 Episode 3 called Innocent. Now this episode it does have some shocking things in it, so there will be a few twists and turns along the way. But yeah, I'm putting this video up now and it will be up I think on the 22nd of August. The next day, a code black is being alarmed. All the women are being put in their units and the prison is in lockdown. Vera comes to Will, who is by Miss Miles's dead body. Vera says, "Any idea who it is? Who did it?" Will says, "No." Vera says, "I'm ordering a ramp for the prison." Will says, "You want to stress the women out." Vera says, "If we don't get a ramp, it will cause more trouble." Will says, "Okay, if it's the best thing to do." Meanwhile, H1 are talking about why the prison is in lockdown. B says, "I will find out." Then she sees Will and says, "Why are we in lockdown?" Will says, "Linda Miles is dead." B says, "Do you know who murdered her?" Will says, "No, the governor is ordering a ramp." And then Vera and the police and dogs go to every unit. The units are open and the dogs and police search. B says to Vera, "Is this really necessary?" Vera says, "Yes, it is, Smith. Now go and stand by your cell." Then all of a sudden, Michelle is dragged down the corridor, kicking and screaming. "I didn't do it, get the fuck off me," as they drag her to the slot. Vera says, "What's going on?" Guard says, "I found this in her cell." The guard pulls out a knife and Vera says, "Carry on with slotting her." Vera says to Will, "I'm releasing the lockdown, you can let the women out into the yard." As the women walk out into the yard, Boomer says to B, "I can't believe Michelle killed Miss Miles." B says, "I don't think she did." Boomer says, "The murder weapon was found in her cell." B says, "It could have been planted." Later on, Vera and the police are going to charge Michelle with the murder of Linda Miles. Vera opens the door, the police walk in and say, "Michelle Kelly, I am charging you with the murder of Linda Miles. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you question in court." Michelle says, "I didn't kill her, I had no reason to do it." Meanwhile, the H1 girls are walking back to the unit and B says, "I need a word with Grace." Maxine says, "What do you want to talk to her for?" B says, "I bet she knows what happened to Miss Miles." B and the H1 girls go to H6 to talk to Grace. B walks in H6 and sees Grace in her cell and says, "Oi, I need to talk to you." Grace says, "What do you want?" B says, "I think you was involved in Miss Miles' death." Grace says, "And what makes you think that?" B says, just before the body was found, you walked past my unit and I seen you where it happened." Grace says, "You can't prove anything." Michelle has been charged, so she's going down for it. B says, "Not if I can help it. You just watch out, Grace, because I'm on to you." Then as B and the girls are walking out the unit, Grace runs at B, knocks her to the floor and starts hitting her. Maxine and Boomer grab B and Grace off each other and Grace says, "I'm coming for top dog." Then out of the blue, Boomer walks over to Grace and punches her so hard in the face and says, "If you think you're getting top dog, you can think again." So what an episode that was. So Michelle's been charged, but could she get off with the help of B? Grace and B showdown confirmed, and because Grace wants top dog. But will Grace be uncovered as Miss Miles' real killer? I suppose we will find out. So yeah. There's a lot more twists and turns coming up, and in the next episode, which is called Danger, that will be out at the end of the month, that basically there's a big twist coming that I think no one's going to expect. There's one character that will die, but I can't say who because I think it's going to be very, very good. And at the end of episode 4, there's a big revelation that I think one character is not going to be very pleased to hear. So make sure you like and subscribe. And yeah, the first episode of this is up on the 8th.